They are spying on us. They violate our sovereignty, our airspace. They won't return the call from our head of the Joint Chiefs. That shows incredible weakness. And Biden's telling Blinken, we want to smooth things over with the Communist Chinese. What are they talking about? Communist China is in a Cold War with us. How the hell is it possible? Particularly with the first balloon, which is a Derringer. It's 200 feet tall and 3 school buses wide at least, giving out all kinds of electrical pulses and taking in all kinds of information. How is it we don't know where it came from? Well, we think it was China. What do you mean we think it was China? And what I've explained just from my own modest background in this area, having served as chief of staff to an attorney general, but you get involved in all kinds of stuff. I know we have eyes on the mainland of China 24/7, 365. Satellites are watching, other ways of watching. There's no way you can release the equivalent of the Goodyear blimp into the skies from mainland China as it works its way like the tortoise versus the hare across the Pacific Ocean into Alaska, the coast of Alaska, cuts through Canada, into North America, and we don't know where it comes from. It's not possible. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, for more than a week, this administration has been covering all this up, as well as the other the other three objects. And the senators are very displeased with the briefing they're getting, and that includes Democrat senators. There's a cover-up going on. There's always a cover-up with the Bidens. The Biden crime family cover-up, their laptop cover-up, the cover-up of what's going on in the border, the cover-up of the classified documents, and on and on and on. And so this was a cover-up. Now, the other evening, what happens? CBS News breaks a story. Let's listen in. Go.
Well, the newest information on a Chinese spy balloon shot down off the Atlantic coast shows the U.S. military tracked the device for 1 week before it drifted.
We tracked the device for 1 week. Wow. So General Patton Biden, when he ordered it shot down Wednesday over Montana, he had to have known. The Secretary of Defense knew. The DNI knew. The director of the CIA knew. They all had to know that this was launched from Communist China's mainland. And the leaders in Congress, they call them the Eight, they were not informed about it. Think about this. If some guy with binoculars in Montana hadn't seen it in the sky, look at this, Mildred, what the hell is that? We wouldn't even have been told about this. Meanwhile, this Goodyear blimp, it goes over the 3 most important nuclear sites that we have, and the one biggest, launch sites. So why would they do this? For several reasons. One, to test our so-called commander-in-chief, the Manchurian president, and his reaction, which was extremely poor. Number 2, to test the Joint Chiefs, their reaction, which was extremely poor. Number 3, to test our capabilities to monitor, which according to our own government, we have a huge gap in our radar system. We go, what? You know there's a blimp up there? And what else? To gather enough information about these nuclear launch sites to try and figure out how to sabotage them if we ever, God forbid, come to a situation like this. In other words, to eliminate mutually assured destruction, which would give the Chinese a massive hand up over us. So after they finish gathering all this information, of course, our government says, well, we blocked their ability. Do you believe that for 2 seconds? I don't believe anything these people say anymore. It's like a Keystone Cops operation. And now CBS confirms what I knew had to be. Yes, we were monitoring the damn thing. Yes, we knew where it was launched from. And these people have been lying to us day in and day out. Go.
Drifted across the continental U.S. CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe is at the White House with more on this for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Chanel and Marie. Good to see you. CBS News has learned from U.S. intelligence sources that the U.S. had basically been tracking this balloon since it took off the South China coast, Hainan Island, as it drifted towards Guam and Hawaii, and then made that northern turn.
So stop. We have monitoring devices on Guam. We have monitoring devices on Hawaii. We have monitoring devices in Alaska. So this blimp goes over Guam, near Hawaii, to the coast of Alaska. We don't know how it got here, but we couldn't shoot it down because it might hit the people in Montana. There are no people in Montana. There's a few maybe, but relatively few. Nobody in Montana is going to get hit by anything. And then NORAD, the guy from NORAD puts out the line, would you rule out UFOs? I'm not ruling out anything. It's possible. I said, all right, now we've hit the wall. Of course, there's some people, including some of my colleagues on cable, I knew it. They're hiding the UFOs. They're hiding the UFOs. Has nothing to do with UFOs. It has to do with the cover-up of the Biden administration. Now, why would they cover this up? Because they didn't want to shoot it down. Why didn't they want to shoot it down? I already told you. Biden is bought and paid for by the communist Chinese. He's not going to shoot it down. As a matter of fact, after we shot it down, they got very angry with us. They wouldn't return the call from Milley to his compatriot over there in communist China because they were angry with us. And the word went out diplomatically that Biden wanted to smooth things over. They are spying on us. They violate our sovereignty, our airspace. They won't return the call from our head of the Joint Chiefs. That shows incredible weakness. And Biden's telling Blinken, we want to smooth things over with the communist Chinese. What are they talking about? Communist China is in a Cold War with us. They're preparing for war with us. We are not preparing to defend ourselves from such a war. We have boneheads and knuckleheads in our own party, but the biggest bonehead and knucklehead is the Manchurian president in the Oval Office. Go ahead.
Up to Alaska. It was at that point officials say it's possible the balloon was just blown off its initial course by weather, but they insist the Chinese still had control of it as the balloon came south over the lower 48 states. As for the three objects shot down this weekend by U.S. fighter jets, the strongest theory now from the intelligence community is that the objects are benign or just harmless research balloons. There is still no word on the condition of the wreckage.
So why do they assume the other three are harmless research balloons? First of all, what does it even mean? What are they researching, the communist Chinese? They're just sending these things out to take pictures of the stars? I mean, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. They are trying to gather more information on us. That's number one. Number two, one of the fighter pilots said what he shot down was not a balloon. So there's that. Number three, the guy says it's possible that this original blimp was blown off course over the United States. How stupid is that? So the details are unknown. There's still a cover-up. And as of the time I'm doing this program, Joe Biden still has not spoken to the American people. Can you imagine any other president not speaking directly and fulsomely to the American people after we shot down objects over our airspace?
Want to see more Mark Levin? Go to LevinTV.com and subscribe now.